Hello everyone, and welcome back to the events videos for Let's Play Prototype. We have a fair amount of events to do today. 5 in total, 4 kill and a war event. Now I wasn't sure about if there was going to be war events during this part of the game where we don't have any powers, but we do, because I forgot about something. Battlefield. Now, we would only have 3 events to do, but because I unlocked skyjacking earlier than intended, we have raining fire and friendly fire unlocked, which because we have skyjacking now, we're able to pilot helicopters, and that's what those 2 events are for. So before we do any of the kill events, let's just get the war event out of the way. Let's head over to the battlefield. And it really is, with all of this stuff going on. So, since we don't have much of our in terms of powers, war events in this case are going to be under disguise. This event in particular has us fighting against the military in a military disguise, and we're only allowed to use a specific weapon, in this case, the grenade launcher. Now, one thing about this specific portion of the game and the events of the next couple of missions is that kill events get really crazy happy with the grenade launcher for some reason, and I don't really understand why. Because I find the grenade launcher very annoying in all cases when it comes to events like this, especially when you have to be fast. Now, of course, you have, in terms of this event, you have the running around of a huge amount of hunters, and also running evolved infected coming right at you, which is really annoying in terms of the grenade launcher, because they'll get up close and personal, and the grenade launcher is not that kind of weapon. Especially when you can just get hit by the splash damage tons of times, double back over, and lose about a second and a half of time, which is really precious when you're trying to hit for really fast times. So this specific war event really isn't that difficult, but with some practice you can actually get really good at it, especially when you learn about what spawns when, and what enemies you have to defeat in order to make the next wave appear. So let's try this event again. As everything explodes around me. Your main priority really is going to be the hunters, because they take the most amount of hits in order to take down. And in terms of war events in this scenario, it not only is it a mix of skill on your part, but it's also a mix of luck because of your military allies. Because you're not able to take down all of the infected by yourself. Like, you wouldn't be able to do this in such a quick a time as what is going to be shown here if the military did not help. And there's many times when the military will just not help at all. Like, the AI will just kind of not do its job very well. Another thing is that you always have to keep your distance because of the grenade launcher splash damage that will always hit you because, well, dive rolling out of the way and the infected just getting in your way constantly is such an annoying thing. So thanks to the military's assistance and my fast action, 53 seconds is our final time. Pretty fantastic time. For a war event anyways. I'll just leave the fighting for now. Because there's more things we have to do. We could be fighting here for the rest of our lives if we didn't leave. But we're just gonna head a couple blocks down and pick up some explosives.
Stand by.
Oh, look what's on the ground! It's our handy-dandy grenade launcher! So, being that this being in Kill Infected event, pretty much the same idea applies for all kill events when dealing with infected. Find areas with tightly packed hordes of infected and go for them, because they will give you the points more than these infected that will always get up in your business. They just come after you, and it's so very annoying, especially with the grenade launcher, because then you want to take care of them in order to like thin out their hordes, so you're not blowing yourself up in the process of blowing up other infected. But, But then again, if you get the rhythm right and you're finding all of the right packs of infected around this little area, then you should be good to go. The military also brings out hunters from time to time, but they're really not worth your trouble because hunters only give 5 points and it takes too long in order to take them down. Especially when you can go get a score like 211, over double the gold requirement. A lot of these kill events really get up your infected casualty statistic if you're that kind of person. Which you're not, because I'm the only one I'm the only one alive who ever cares about that. So let's deal with some friendly fire next. So friendly fire is a helicopter event, which we wouldn't have if this hunter wouldn't go away and blew up the helicopter. Oh god. Get in the thing, get in the field, get in the field, get in the field. Thank you. Anyway, the next kill event, which will not deal with hunters in any way. Now instead of using the tank, we get to use the helicopter in order to defeat enemies. Military enemies to be exact, because with a name like Friendly Fire, what else could there be? Now, I will say that doing this event correctly is not really the way to do it. And in terms of what I mean by doing it correctly is by going for all of the enemies on the ground. Because they kind of expect you to, because they mark them all over your map and they're around this specific hive, and they want you to take down the tanks and the infantry down below. To be honest, that's too much of a hassle. Plus, it doesn't give you a lot of points in the long run. So instead of that, let's do it the cheap way, which also gets you the maximum amount of points that you can possibly get. And that is by staying up in the air and taking care of the helicopters that keep continuously appearing. Because by the military score system for this specific event, infantry are worth 1, tanks are worth 5, and helicopters are worth 10 points apiece. So why wouldn't you want to go and take down the helicopters by themselves? Homing missiles are really the one way of taking them down because, well, they take them down in one hit. This may seem a bit boring, and it kind of is. However, it's kind of funny to just listen to the talking that's going on with the helicopter pilots screaming for their lives while you kill them. And if you're not making them explode on contact, they're falling to their deaths onto the ground in big explosions. So one thing about the helicopter targeting system I kind of noticed in this event is that it's kind of weird. And in the effect that sometimes the targeting system is spot on, and sometimes it will just target random things, like possibly a hive on the other side of the city for no apparent reason. It did this at the beginning of the event. And with that, 300 points. And no, I'm not going for double the gold requirement just because I want to. Even though it looks like it. I do have a reason, though. And then after the event is over, you actually get a free helicopter. So wherever there are usually helicopters situated for events purposes, and there's another 7 billion that we can add to the military expenditure, usually there are just free helicopters that you can take without skyjacking, and that's kind of the quickest way, other than skyjacking, to get helicopters. So now, with that out of the way, let's move on to armor. Also, did I mention that there are a ton of infected zones at this point? Yeah, we're kind of into half of the city being infected. And we're back into tank territory with killing. Now, if you thought irony was bad, it's still bad. Armor is not as bad, but it still kind of has that issue. The only difference between irony and armor is that I find armor surprisingly easier. And I think the main reason is that it doesn't have any missile launcher infantry in it. So the only thing that is really different is that you only have like foot infantry with assault rifles shooting at you, which don't really do a lot of damage, and then tanks that come up. Now, in order to really get just a good score without actually having to do this event over and over and over again, is to sit relatively in this spot, because then you can just kind of go in a wide arc of missiles and repeated machine gun fire and take down the tanks on either side, and then usually some infantry are in the middle that you can take down for extra points. You'll actually have to constantly readjust yourself, because as you shoot the missile launcher that the tank has, it actually has a small bit of recoil, so you'll actually start going backwards. Which may screw up your positioning for when tanks spawn, because of course, you're always going for the tanks. Yeah, so with the subtraction of the missile launcher infantry, tank kill events like this are actually fairly simple, and don't take a lot of time in order to actually get a good score on them. The only thing that could ruin your score, though, is depending on how many tanks appear at one time, because there's where the luck comes into play, because usually it'll be like one tank showing up, or two. Two is definitely preferable because it doubles your score. And there we go, 212. I think we're good there. Do you? I think we're good. So I kind of wasn't kidding when we were going to be doing billions of dollars of damage more in the next event video. Because on top of that 7 billion, we're doing another 8. So yeah, we've done $15 billion of damage into just this one video. Hooray. But now we get to move on to the final kill event for this video, Raining Fire. Now, I'll have to say that Raining Fire took me a lot longer than it should have, because I find this actually to be a rather fun event, when you don't do it properly. First off, we're going to show how to exploit the game for more points, because I parked an unmanned helicopter there and just blew it up for an extra 10 points before I've even gotten out of the gate. So what the game expects you to do for this kill event is go after the UAVs, which are right behind us. However, I tend to go into Red Crown Command in order to get my score up, because I like exploiting the glitch of, well, now I do. I like exploiting the glitch of how so many infantry just kind of show up. Because look at my score so far. We're not even 40 seconds into this, and I'm already at the gold requirement, and I'm still climbing. And that is because the infantry here just keep popping up over and over and over again. So in terms of getting points, this event is pretty simple. The only thing that can really kind of ruin your mood is the UAVs that you were expected to take down. The requirements for gold, silver, and bronze are so low because they expect you to take down the UAVs, which are only worth a point apiece. And that is weird, because you could just go into Red Crown, slaughter everybody, and kill all the tanks for 5 points apiece, and get this much. Detectors also count as a point, if you didn't know. They actually count as a military target, which is interesting. However, the UAVs are annoying because they really get up in your personal space, and if they start rubbing against you, they'll ruin your helicopter's mobility and will just eat away at your health really quickly, resulting in your helicopter crashing and dying and you having to start over. And, well, we might as well get rid of the UAVs for good measure, I guess. There we go. That took way longer than it should have. Usually glide missions take me about 20 to 30 minutes to get the expected amounts from this. This took me a couple of hours because, to be honest, I'm exploiting a glitch in order to get this score, but even if the glitch wasn't there, I would expect that with the population of Red Crown, you would still get a good score, well over 100. But yeah, exploiting a glitch meant that this took longer than expected to do, this one particular event, and I'm glad it's done. I'm glad I got the score that happened here. And next time, hopefully events will be a lot easier and less glitch exploitation. See you next time, everyone.